Hey everyone, I'm Rod and Todd, a professional YouTuber who makes professional videos, and it's Tuesday, which means it's time for another Transformers review, so here we go. So this is Ultra Magnus, and this is Battlefield Rung. They were released together in the Leader Class Spoiler Pack set as part of the first wave of the Netflix War for Cybertron Trilogy toy line. As always, we'll start with the alternate modes, and since he's tiny and unimportant, let's start with Rung. So, let me remove the effect parts first so I can just show you the main alternate mode. So yes, Battlefield Rung is a transparent pink redeco of the original Rung, which I've already reviewed original Rung here, and as I said, he's probably my favorite Siege figure, just because he represents an IDW original character, who's not just an IDW original character, but he's also from a comic series I really like, so it's great to see him getting an official toy. So here he is in bright pink. I don't really know why he's in bright pink. He isn't in the Netflix cartoon, unfortunately. But yeah, it is just pretty much the same thing, same mold, just his little comic stick mode. Then, of course, they had to repurpose it to a gun in order to sell it as a Battle Master. So there's a little handle there. We'll show off the gun with Ultra Magnus once we get to Magnus's robot mode. He does come with two effect pieces, which oddly enough are different from Rung's effect parts. As you can see here, Rung, the original, has just these blue, like, little spiral energy things, whereas this one has, like, these pink lightning bolt looking thingies. I don't really know what the difference is or why they included those in here, but there you go. I do have one complaint, is that this is really thin kind of rubber, so I'm afraid that if like I pull too hard on it, it could rip. But I don't know. I don't really use this guy very often. I don't even display Magnus on my shelf anymore because I bought the Kingdom Ultra Magnus, which is way better than this one, so I don't have either of these guys on my shelf, unfortunately. But here's the Ultra Magnus figure, and this guy is a redeco of the regular Siege Ultra Magnus, which basically, if you want to know what the difference is, just imagine this, but it doesn't have any of this gunmetal gray and black on it. It was kind of a thing with the War for Cybertron trilogy line, especially in the first two waves. In the third wave, they just kind of dropped that off completely. But it's they would just take an existing figure and then just give him a whole bunch of battle damage and pray that some poor soul wanted it. So, of course, that meant that no one really bought any of the redecoed figures. And so you would go to Walmart, because these were all Walmart exclusive, and it would just be nothing but Chromia, Hound, and Sideswipe, and then Voyager class Megatron. Magnus here I got because I didn't get the original Siege Magnus, and I found him on sale. That was pretty much it. Due to the spoiler box packaging, I'm assuming, which we'll get to later, that resulted in not a lot of people wanting this figure, and so it hit, it being $60 is also a big turnoff, so it went on sale very quickly after it first came out, so I was able to get this guy for half off. Awesome. It's just a shame that the other spoiler pack figure I have, Nemesis Prime, I did have to pay full price for. And I'm not planning on getting the Megatron and Purple Paleo Trex when they come out. I don't really have a need for those. But anyway, let's actually talk about Magnus. So he turns into a Cybertronian car carrier. And of course, him being a redeco of a Siege figure, and the theme for Siege being Cybertronian vehicles, that makes sense. Unfortunately, I haven't really been able to get any of the other Siege Autobot cars to just fit on top here very well. However, when we get to Kingdom Magnus, I've been able to get Studio Series Hot Rod to fit on the top pretty well. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but whatever. So yeah, it's just a car carrier. This guy was retooled into Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime, which I covered a long time ago. So as a result, it's the same kind of situation. This trailer is not articulated, so it can't, the cab and the trailer can't turn independently of each other, which kind of sucks, because I mean, because it turns super wide. But whatever. He has 10 functional wheels, just like with Galaxy Prime, 6 on the cab, and 4 just kind of on the back of the trailer here. He has all sorts of space to store his accessories. Does come with a lot of accessories. You can fit his gun up top, which I like to do sometimes. His little shoulder rockets in robot mode, and they just go here. You can put them there. And then these, which I'll discuss these in more detail once we get to the robot mode. But apparently a big thing about this figure is it was sculpted to look like Robots in Disguise Ultra Magnus' car carrier mode. And I'm not talking about the recent Robots in Disguise with Bumblebee and Strong Arm and all that. I'm talking about the 2001 Robots in Disguise, the actual good one, in which Ultra Magnus turned into a car carrier. And upon looking at it, it kind of looks like it. At least the front cab kind of does. And apparently these guns, the sole reason they exist is so you can put them here, and the original toy for Ultra Magnus had these little hinges on them. The Robots in Disguise have these little rectangular hinges or pieces or something. I don't have the original figure, but something, and apparently that's what these are supposed to emulate. Those little rectangular pieces on the side of the red Ultra Magnus toy was so important. They had to throw in these stupid things just to emulate that. Anyway, yeah, I'll discuss those guns in greater detail once we get to the robot mode. Of course, him being a Siege Leader class figure, he's more like a Voyager-sized robot with just a big add-on. So as with Galaxy Prime, the trailer can separate, and he just has this base cab mode, which of course is based off the G1 toy with how he was just a white redeco of Optimus Prime that then can combine with this trailer to form the Ultra Magnus we all know and love. So I am glad they brought the white Prime back, to be honest, because that's something you don't see very often. It's like basically, if it's a white Optimus Prime redecoed as Ultra Magnus, then odds are it doesn't come with a trailer to combine with into the armor. And something I'm also glad about is that this line's Optimus Prime, it's a completely separate mold from this line's Ultra Magnus, at least Siege's Ultra Magnus. There wasn't, Siege Prime wasn't redecoed in the Netflix line. But anyway, yeah, just this white cab, 6 rolling wheels, and you know, roll out, fight the Decepticons. You can fit, I just got rungs here, I guess. You can fit those on top of this exhaust pipes for some reason. But yeah, there you go. So, yeah, that's Ultra Magnus and Battlefield Rung in their alternate modes. So now we're going to move on to the packaging, which is probably unlike anything you've ever seen. So the Netflix line had this thing to where they had Deluxe class figures and then Voyager class figures with 2 Battle Masters or Micro Masters or what have you included. And then they had the Leader class figures, so there's 1 per wave, and it was they're all in this big box. It was called they call them spoiler packs, because now as you can see, there's no way to know what figure is inside. Of course, you could be like me, who just, you know, you could be just like me, who, you know, is a nut and knows what figures are coming out, so I already knew what figure was in here when I bought it. But yeah, you can imagine that being a turnoff for some people who didn't know what this thing was and didn't know what figure was inside. When I actually bought it, this thing was already opened up in the store. Like, everything inside was still there, but someone had opened it, I'm assuming just so they could see what figure was inside. But then they didn't buy it. But anyway, apparently it's supposed to be, has all this stuff on it to make it look like a Cybertronian ammo crate. I don't know, so it's kind of got like this handle looking thing on the side, or there's a little handle on the top, which unfortunately that isn't a real handle, which sucks. Like, but I guess if you want to take out the cardboard tray inside and use this to store your Nerf darts, then go ahead. Anyway, on to what's actually on the box. It has the War vs. Cybertron Trilogy logo there, and it says spoilers inside. We'll get to what those spoilers are here in a bit. Transformers logo has like some cracking and stuff, some purple stuff showing through, like bullet holes and stuff. I do like the detail on here. The aforementioned whatever this thing is some more purple cracks and stuff. And on the back it says spoilers inside again, the Netflix original series logo. Some Cybertronian text, which I can't be bothered to translate. And then Ultra Magnus, I'm assuming that's just recycled art from the original Siege figure. But given how it's supposed to be kind of a mystery what's inside, I think that kind of ruins the surprise by having packaging art right there. But then again, I guess they couldn't just sell a big box with no indication of what's inside and expect people to buy it. So, and then Autobot symbol on the top, the aforementioned handle, and there's even a little hinge detail on here, but unfortunately this isn't like hinged. If you're wondering how you open this up, there's just a big lid. And something that every spoiler pack figure did is it came with the Play-Doh. No, Play-Doh. It's this like black Play-Doh, and I've kind of kept it here. I don't really have any intention of ever using this, ever, but it's just like black Play-Doh, and it ties into kind of a gimmick with these figures, which I'll get to here once we're done talking about the box. But basically, they have this Play-Doh with accessories inside that you're supposed to dig for. It's kind of fun for like 3 seconds. I did an unboxing of the second spoiler pack from Wave 2 a long time ago on this channel, and I remember this stuff is super sticky and it got everywhere, and I had to go wash my hands halfway through the unboxing. But yeah, it came originally in this little plastic tray with some dried up crud in there. But yeah, I just kind of keep it in here, just never talk about it. And it's here where we get to the I'll take this out. It's here where we get to the aforementioned spoilers, which I honestly originally thought would just be like just a detailed synopsis of the show or something, because this was before season 1 of the Netflix show came out, and apparently it's supposed to spoil important details from the show. But something I learned is that it's actually just 2 out of context quotes from the show itself, and they expect you to translate it yourself because it's all in Cybertronian text, and it doesn't even come with a key, so you have to look up the key online and then painstakingly be like, yep, that's an A, that's a whatever. And with the first spoiler pack, I actually was able to just look it up. Someone put that online somewhere, so thank goodness for that. And but with the second one, I actually had to spend an entire afternoon painstakingly translating it myself. And what sucked is that by the time I got the second spoiler pack, season 2 had already came out. I just wanted to know what it said. But yeah, these are 2. They translate to basically 2 completely out of context quotes from the show. So if you didn't know what was going to happen in the show, this wouldn't have spoiled literally anything. Pretty much. I think it's like one of them is like, I, Ultra Magnus, surrender to you, but it doesn't say who he's surrendering to. And the other one is like, this can only mean one thing: Ultra Magnus is dead. But that could just be an assumption. He could still be alive. Spoilers, does actually die in the show itself. R.I.P. But yeah, that's the box. It's a really interesting box. I'll give it that. I kind of dig the presentation here of it just being this big mystery box. But at the same time, I mean, like, I don't know. It's nothing really cool. It doesn't really have any cool like package art. I mean, it does sort of. But, I mean, like, this is all cool. I mean, come on, wouldn't it have just been awesome if this thing came with like an actual handle that flips up from the top? Like, even if it was just a cardboard handle. But I mean, they tease us with this little tampograph. But like, come on, not tampograph, but like printing on the front or on the top. But like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's the box. So let's just move on to the robot mode. So here's the robot modes. I'll start with Battlefield Rung again because he's just kind of there, tiny, unimportant. So again, he is just a clear pink redeco of the original Rung, which is nerve-wracking considering this piece is on a hinge and it's made of transparent plastic, which could easily break. Luckily, I haven't had that problem, thank goodness. I don't even know if anyone else has. No one really seems to be talking about this figure as much. But, there you go. So, again, comparison to the original Rung. Same articulation, ball jointed shoulders, uh, waist swivel, and then hip swivel. Really nothing that special. Uh, really, the only reason this guy could possibly be included in the set is, according to the TF Wiki, is that in the original show, in the Netflix show, they have something called the Alpha Trion Protocols, which is like this, I don't know, it's like this ancient Autobot database or something created by Alpha Trion, who's a deep lore character. If you don't know Transformers and all that well outside of the scope of the movies, pretty much, then you don't really know who that guy is. But I have a feeling if you're like a hardcore Transformers fan who's been watching this, you know what I'm talking about. But apparently, it's like this is supposed to emulate that because in the show, uh, the Alpha Trion Protocols had this manifestation of the character Alpha Trion who would talk to them. And I guess that's what this is kind of supposed to look like. So you could pretend it's a. I guess you could just pretend it's Alpha Trion if you want. But I'm honestly not going to do that. It's like really the only good Alpha Trion figure, or like really the only one that actually looks like the character is a Titan's Return one, which I don't have. Other than that, I don't know, you got the Power of the Primes one, which doesn't look anything like Alpha Trion, but whatever. So, yeah, that's Battlefield Rung. I'll show off his gun mode with Magnus later. So moving on to Magnus. Again, as with every leader class figure, pretty much except for Astro Train, he's more like a Voyager class figure that combines with something to form a bigger robot. So, in this case, he is just a white Optimus Prime looking guy. Of course, as mentioned earlier, it's based off the original toy, and he has a ton of black, gunmetal gray kind of paint wash all over him to look like battle damage. Apparently, it's actually supposed to look more like he's dying, like how how in the original movie Optimus Prime turns gray after he dies, which they had to make an Amazon exclusive Earthrise figure for. I guess it's supposed to look like that. However, as with the out of context quotes that are supposed to spoil the set, if you didn't know that he died, then, or if you didn't know that this was supposed to emulate him turning gray after death, then you would just assume it's battle damage. So they didn't really do a good job there, Hasbro. If it made it completely gray, then I'd understand. But like, whatever. So in terms of articulation, it has the standard stuff for a figure of this size. Ball joint of the head to move his head up and down and left and right. Universal joint ear. Bend at the shoulder, swivel at the shoulder, wrist swivel, waist swivel, universal joint at the hips. You can move his leg out, forward and back. The forward and back motion is on a ratchet, so it clicks. Swivel at the thigh, bend at the knee, and swivel at the ankle. So I've said this 1,000 times pretty much at this point. But yeah, you can hold all his accessories and stuff in this mode. However, I'm just gonna choose to show off his guns and stuff once we get to the combined robot mode, which we're gonna talk about now. I did this with Shockwave and Galaxy Upgrade Prime when I showed off their combinations. I didn't just cut away and do it. I'm gonna actually show you how this works. So first, gotta start off by disassembling the trailer. So you have to pull these out. These just kind of also separate there. These are all the, oh yeah, and you pull this out here. Forgot about these. And there, that's the, all the parts you need. So we gotta, first off, flip out the chest plate, flip the head back in, put that back, pull this forward, push that down, and because I always forget to do this, flip the little heel struts back so that the boots can fit in. So we'll actually start with a set of boots. So you have to just fold all this up. I always forget how to do this sometimes just because it's kind of complicated, but that whole side assembly just kind of folds up. And then just kind of slides onto his legs there. Now he has boots. Then these little pieces here, which just kind of slide on the shoulders. I can get this one to fit. I don't know why it's not. And then these little things just flip back and kind of lock those in place. Sort of. It's a little finicky on mine. But, you know, you get the idea. And these little things here, they flip open these little doors. I want to do that. I always forget what way you do this, but these just kind of, these little holes, pegs in here, you just kind of, and then close the little doors around there, just kind of lock those on. And then this piece here, there's obviously a super robot head. You flip that back, flip this up. This square red piece just kind of clips onto the back, folds down, or folds over and folds down, and there you go. There's Magnus's super mode. Or rather, this is just Magnus. In order to not confuse Magnus with the Optimus in the original cartoon, they made it to where he never had the white prime mode and just always transformed directly into this super mode. So this is kind of more what most people think when they think Ultra Magnus. And I'm also just going to throw out this theory. Another reason these two could have been in the set is because Rung and Ultra Magnus both had major roles in the comic where Rung was really big in. So that could be an homage to More Than Meets the Eye. I don't know. Anyway, he has pretty much the same articulation in this mode. The new head has a ball joint, and the new feet also have swivels, which is really nice. I guess we can cover his accessories now. He comes with 5 of them. I kind of showed him off in vehicle mode, but you have his base gun here. It's gigantic. I love this. It's such a cool gun that they even redecorated it for the Kingdom figure, which is nice. You just kind of fit that in his hand. That looks good. And all these guns had names on the original Siege release, but since they don't in the instructions here, I'm not going to give them any names. Because after Siege, I'm done having to memorize horribly long weapon names. Thank goodness. His guns here, these little things, if you have seen my Galaxy Prime review, you may remember these. They're just the same as they were there. I just like to fit them here. I honestly think they don't really serve any purpose. They're stupid looking guns. I don't like them. So I just kind of store them here where they can't hurt anybody. And something I'm glad about the Kingdom Magnus, he doesn't come with these. So I don't have to worry about them because I don't like them. They're just kind of pointless. And then he has his iconic shoulder rockets, which are here in dark gray. Which, you know, the shoulder rockets are kind of one of his iconic weapons. Pretty much every Ultra Magnus has them in some capacity. So he comes with those, just kind of peg onto his shoulders, and there you go. There's Ultra Magnus all armored up. And if you want, you can also give him Battlefield Rung in his other hand. Give me a second. You can also give him Battlefield Rung, its other hand. There you go. Now he's all armed up. And you can also stick effect pieces into the other guns. I just have the other Rung's little blast piece handy. Actually, it looks pretty cool. So there you go. Oh, and his other accessories, this is what the Play-Doh was for. Comes with 3 Energon cubes, and both this one and the second spoiler pack come with 3 Energon cubes each. And then the third one comes with something different, and since I don't want the third one because both figures in there are ones I don't really need or have any sort of want for at all, I just don't care. I'm not going to get the third spoiler pack, but they don't come with these Energon cubes. They come with something different. And so yeah, this would come in the Play-Doh when you first open the box, and you have to kind of dig through the Play-Doh to find these, which I'm kind of glad they put them in a plastic bag inside the Play-Doh, so that way that wouldn't get all over these. But I mean, they're tiny, and you can't really the figures can't really hold them. They did release larger Energon cubes that figures can actually hold in a separate accessory pack I didn't buy, even though I wanted to. It was never in stock. But yeah, this was it's kind of neat. And since the second spoiler pack comes with 3 more of these, I got 6 of them in total, and which is kind of cool because you can, like, I don't know, if you're in the like diorama building or something with these figures, you can kind of have these in your Autobot base or Decepticon base, or have like you can put them in Earthrise Prime's trailer or on the back of Kingdom Huffer and kind of have them like transporting these or something. It's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. You may not be the biggest fan of these, but I honestly kind of like them just because you don't get Energon Cube toys very often. So it's great to see these, and the fact that they later re-released them again is awesome as well. So yeah. So yeah, I guess that's my review of Kingdom Magnus and or not Kingdom Magnus. That's a different figure. Save that for later. Of Netflix Magnus and Battlefield Rung. Uh, in terms of would I recommend this to anyone? No, I wouldn't. If you want Ultra Magnus, then get Kingdom Magnus because he's better. If you can't get Kingdom Magnus, get Siege Magnus. And if you can't get either of those, if you absolutely need a Magnus, then buy this one. If you really like Ultra Magnus, I could see you wanting this. Of course, I only got it because I didn't get the Siege one and it was on sale. But yeah, I wouldn't really recommend this to anyone unless you can't find Kingdom Magnus or Siege Magnus, or you just really like Ultra Magnus. So yeah. Oh, crap, I forgot to do this. This is always something to do. I don't know why they do this. Gonna flip that around. There, now it's complete. I always forget to do that. I'm sorry. But yeah, there you go. There's Netflix Magnus and Earthrise Rung. It's a good figure, but you don't necessarily need to get it. So, thanks for watching, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe and all that. I don't really care if you do, but that would be nice. And tune in next week as we begin Transformers Earthrise by looking at the Battlemaster Soundbarrier. This has been Rod and Todd signing off.